You ever meet someone who's about to give up on everything they've worked for? That was Karina, a marine biology student on the verge of failure, taking calculus for the third time, her last chance. If she didn't pass, her entire future was at stake. And I helped her cheat. Was it wrong? Maybe. But honestly, I don't regret a thing. This is the story of how I bent the rules to save a student's career and why I do it all over again. Let me take you back to where it all began. I'm a grad student and I work as a TA for a calculus professor. One summer, I met Karina. She had failed calculus twice already, and this summer course was her last shot to pass. The school's policy is brutal: 3 strikes and you're done. Now, Karina wasn't lazy. From the first day of class, she worked harder than any other student. She was the first to show up to office hours and the last to leave. We went over problems, used real-world examples from marine biology, anything we could think of to make calculus make sense to her. I even brought in other grad students to help explain things in different ways. But no matter how hard she tried, it didn't click. She just couldn't grasp the concepts. Some people might say, if you try hard enough, you can do anything. But sometimes that's just not true. As the first midterm approached, Karina came to me in tears. She knew she was failing again. She was terrified that this would be the end of her dream to become a marine biologist. That's when I made the decision, a decision that would change everything. I told her we could meet for extra help over the weekend. But what I didn't tell her was that I had the exact midterm questions in my bag. See, the professor and TAs write the exams together, so I knew exactly what was coming up. At a quiet coffee shop 20 minutes away from campus, I handed her the exam questions. Not practice questions. These were the actual test problems. We went over them again and again until she had them memorized, down to the smallest detail. It wasn't long before she caught on to what I was doing, but she didn't say anything. We just kept going. And before you judge me, hear me out. I wanted her to succeed. I needed her to succeed. I knew that this test wasn't about her ability to be a great marine biologist. It was about passing a class that was more of a hurdle than a help to her career. The midterm came and went, and Karina scored one of the highest grades in the class. But it didn't stop there. For the final exam, I did the same thing. We met again, I handed her the test questions, and we drilled them until they were burned into her memory. She knew them so well, she could have recited them like poetry. Now, I didn't give her the answers to the bonus questions, so she didn't blow the curve. She didn't cheat to the top of the class, but she passed. And that's all that mattered. Karina was finally done with calculus. The one class that had held her back from pursuing her dream was no longer a roadblock. She passed, and she never has to worry about it again. Now, I know what you're thinking. I cheated. I gave her an unfair advantage. I took the easy way out. And maybe you're right. But let me ask you something. If you were in my shoes, watching someone who worked harder than anyone else, knowing that they'd never need this subject again in their future career, what would you do? Karina's dream is to study marine biology, not solve calculus problems by hand. As a future marine biologist, she'll have all the tools she needs to calculate things like water levels and tides. She won't be sitting in a lab solving calculus equations from memory. So why should she fail a class that has no real relevance to her future? In every other subject, Karina excelled. But calculus? It wasn't her strength, no matter how much effort she put in. She wasn't lazy or unmotivated. Her brain just didn't work that way. And I wasn't about to let a single math class kill her dreams. To this day, Karina is still on track to becoming a marine biologist. Every now and then, I see her around campus. She always comes up to thank me. She says that without my help, she might have given up on her dream entirely. And honestly, I'm glad I helped her cheat. There, I said it. But the way I see it, the system was failing her. So I stepped in and did what I had to do. I played the game a little differently, and in the end, it worked. So yeah, maybe it wasn't fair. Maybe it wasn't by the book. But I helped a hardworking student stay on the path to her dream career. And isn't that what really matters? Now, here's the real question. If you were in my position, would you have done the same? Would you have bent the rules to help someone succeed, knowing that it might be their only chance? Or would you have let them fail? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm really curious how you all feel about this. Do you think what I did was wrong, or would you have done the same?